Hey, so we're going to be doing a boat oxidation removal. This right here is a 92 Challenger 170 Radical. If you see, there's a lot of oxidation on the boat. I just bought it like this. The engine itself is a Force. And from what I know, it runs really good, but it needs a tune-up, so that's going to be part of the video too. But I'm going to be changing all interior and some stuff around the boat. So I just want to show y'all as remove oxidation and actually do a whole boat haul on the boat. That's that side. And if you come over here, I just washed it just now too, so the water you see is just making sure we wash it. I'm about to start clay barring it, and the clay bar is going to just remove any debris before we start sanding it down. So this is just a before what the boat looked like before I start the oxidation removal process. All right, so if you're interested in this type of stuff, please like, subscribe, and follow and share. I would really appreciate it. It helps me with my content. Let's go. This is the first time me doing it. I picked up a few things, so I want to see if it works. All right, so I'll walk you through the process, and not really a how-to, more like a before and after of just what I'm doing. I'm not a professional at this. You know, this is my first time doing it, so let's see what happens. So right now, she's using the clay bar. So the clay bar is being used. That's just to pick up, you know, residual dirt, anything that's going to scratch the paint. Just use that. You know, you ain't got to go so crazy with it. Depending on your boat, I guess, if you have a lot of, you know, debris on it, you probably want to be a little bit more abrasive. But, you know, we're just doing a fine little swipe pass before we start the wet sanding process. And then once we finish the wet sanding process, we're going to go for the compounding. Actually, we did a part in the back, which is kind of like a testing part, which came out pretty good. And I'll show you right now. That was like a testing part right there. I don't know if you can see the difference right now, but it is a huge difference. And that was just a quick little, we used the clay bar. We did the wet sanding and then the compound. And when I even did the compound, I wound up just using like a cloth to wipe it off, like clean it in, because my machine, which is my Milwaukee tool, there's a part that is missing. I bought it from Amazon and I'm unable to use it right now. So right now I'm just gonna clay bar it down, sand the boat, and I'm probably have to run to the store to go get me another polisher, and then I'll be doing the polisher after that. But what a big difference. I mean, if you look at that right there, you could just see how much is that a big difference to this over here. You could just see the oxidation. That's how it looked on the other side. But then when you come over here, that's what it looks like now. And again, that's just with my hand. That's not even the power of the polisher. So it's got more potential. I didn't even do a seal coat wax for the UV rays, but it's been pretty good. But right now, she's helping me with the clay bar and getting up a lot of this cooking stuff. So when you use the clay bar, we always want to use water with everything we're doing. The only part we're not using water is when we use the sealants, you know, like the compound, the wax, of course. But when you're doing your wet sanding, you want it wet while you're sanding, not dry. It needs to be wet at all given times. And that's going to protect your paint. That's going to protect, you know, that you don't do anything that's going to be abrasive to your fiberglass boat. You do not want to open her up so much. But so far, This is what it looks like just with the clay bar. This is the first session. So it doesn't even look like it's done nothing, but this part is just to get off, like I said, any residual. All right. Just touch my hands, but as y'all see now, this is what it looks like once we've wet sanded it. You know, it looks pretty good. There's probably a few more spots that could be touched up, but overall, this looks pretty good. You know, you can see the shine. You could see like what the boat was really colored as opposed to what it used to be. But that's how it looks once you wet sand it. Again, if you let it sit for a couple of seconds, you'll see that oxidation starts to get darker and darker and darker. And it's going to continue to do that until we add compound. Once we add the compound and buff that into the paint, that keeps that oxidation from coming back like that, as you see right now. But once you wet it back up, you see that oxidation comes right off, you know? All right, so we back. I just finished going to the store and I wound up picking up another buffer because the piece that I needed for mine wasn't there. I got that from Walmart. It was like 50 bucks. So I'll be using that instead of the one I originally bought. But this is the part that we left off at. All right, so I'm gonna sand it down a little bit more. Because if you notice, like right here and all of this, still feel like there's a lot of oxidation. And then up here too, I'm gonna clean some of this, a little bit more of that, so you don't see so much of that coming back. All right, so I'll be doing from there to here.